Hey everybody, this is Kevin from Candlebox.
I hope you let me down easy.
Let's rock.
I hope you let me down easy. I hope you let me down easy. I hope you let me down. Time flies, they say I chose you right. I chose.
Oh, nice Eddie Van Halen acoustic.
Yeah, me and a buddy painted that. That's our little tribute. It's acoustic, but who the hell cares?
That's rad.
You gotta pay respect to that dude for sure. Yesterday was the anniversary.
I know. We were talking about it. The guys and I, we were just reminiscing about where we were and stuff, and we heard the news. It was a terrible, terrible day.
It was, absolutely. So, welcome to Let's Rock.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Good to see you. Congratulations, by the way, on the new album. I listened to it this morning. Woo, fantastic stuff. Really good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Love it. Tell us everything we need to know about Wolves.
Well, it's been done since August of 2019. We recorded it at Henson Studios. We recorded it live, I think, which is why you get there's a lot of that anxiousness to the songs, I think, and the intensity to the energy of them, which I'm always a big proponent of recording live. It's one of the things that I really love doing, especially with this band. These guys are so good that I play with. But yeah, I mean, it's a record that we started writing in 2018 at Soundchecks. There are a few songs on here that are written with Christopher Thorne, who's a good friend of mine. A song on here that's written with Peter Cornell, is a good friend of mine. And then this ballad called Riptide that I wrote with this kid, Keith Longo. So it's my first time venturing outside of the band to write. I'm really super stoked with those songs. But I think the interesting thing about this record is there's no real lane for it. It kind of just goes where it wants to go, you know. And hey, buddy, and we just, you know, that's how we like to do things. It's the first time I think Candlebox actually really allowed ourselves to not stay in one specific lane to write songs. You know, I mean, that's a real gift for us, for an artist, to be able to do that and have fans that'll let you do it. I mean, you know, we turned 30 as a band October 1st, and this is our 7th studio album, and I can't believe I'm still doing this, man. I pinch myself every day. I'm the luckiest guy I know, you know, out of that whole group of musicians that came up after Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, you know, we're the ones that are still standing. My good friends in Sweetwater, they still make music, but, you know, they all have day jobs. You know, they all work at Microsoft or something, you know, and I'm still out here making my rent by touring. So I'm happy. And Wolves is just an extension of that for us. I mean, it's really just an album full of history and, you know, personal notes and my story, what I've gone through over the past, 30 years, and the things I've experienced certainly over the past 5 years. You know, the former administration gave me a lot of fuel for the fire on this one. So I'm thankful for that.
They gave a lot of people fuel for creativity.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I think that's what Wolves is. It's just it's an extension of who we are as musicians, who we are as people, and what our fans mean to us.
Can you believe it, man? 30 years.
Yeah, it's wild.
You know, I was just talking to Frank Hannon from Tesla a couple of days ago.
Great guy.
Awesome guy. But we were talking about the same thing. It's like 35 years since that first album came out. Yeah. And he was saying the same thing. Where the hell is time going?
into our hips and our knees and our elbows and all that sort of shit.
Tell me about it. Now, this is some pretty aggressive music. I mean, I've liked your band for a long time, but it seems that there's a new aggressiveness on this album for some reason. I don't know. The first couple tracks, Let Me Down Easy and All Downhill From Here, they floored me with the aggression. Something you need to tell us about.
No, it's like I said, the former administration, gave me a lot of fuel for this record. but certainly I think society has lost it's lost its way. I think certainly the United States is in a really strange place. I'm 52 years old. I've never seen this kind of disassociativeness, this kind of division, this kind of to hell with you, hooray for me. It's just so kind of strange. I don't really know how to take it. I'm concerned about the world I'm leaving for my son. I'm concerned about the world we're leaving as people for children at the age of 1 to fucking 15. I mean, is there going to be anything for these kids? And that's where a lot of this aggression came from. Let Me Down Easy was the song I wrote with Peter Cornell. And that was really a cathartic moment, I think, for both of us. Of course, Peter being Chris's older brother, dealing with the loss of someone he was very, very close to, and having to be the responsible one to fly to Detroit and bring his brother's body home must have not been very easy. And when we talked about writing together, I spoke to him about that in depth. I said, listen, man, I know that you're not doing anything right now, and I know why. And I would really, really love for you to do something with me. I said, I loved your brother as much as everybody did. I think Chris was one of the greatest of all times, and will go down in history as one of the greatest singers and musicians and composers of all time. I don't know of any other Seattle musician who wrote a James Bond song. So for me, I think that's the pinnacle of fucking badassness. So, but I said to him, I said, give me something that is from the deepest part of your soul, and let me finish it in the way that I think I can, and give you something that maybe says what you want to say. And so he sent me the song on acoustic on a Dobro. I think it's called a Dobro, the little metal ones that have a metal body, and he had a slide on it, and he sent it to me, and it felt exactly like this song felt. And what I wanted to say in this was, basically, it's like Pete and I were sitting at the crossroads with Robert Johnson on a couple tree stumps, about to make some bad decisions, and I wanted that redemption to happen in the middle of the song of what we feel when we lose something, and how badly we want to survive that, and it doesn't happen all the time. And Let Me Down Easy is really just if it's my time, and these are the things I'm trying to be a better person. I want to be a good human being, but I don't want to struggle with heartbreak and emotion. I would hope that somehow when I leave this planet, I go to sleep and I don't have to struggle with those demons, something that Chris struggled with for a long, long time. And I know Pete has as well, as has his sister Katie. They have an incredibly gifted family that are very vulnerable. And so that's kind of what I wanted to give this song. And Pete gave me the perfect canvas for it. I mean, it really was just such an impeccably cool fucking rock song for me to put my flavor to. And I'm just so grateful that he had faith in me to do that.
It's interesting you bring that up. The Seattle scene back in the day when you guys were coming up is right around the time the grunge thing broke out. It seems to me that everybody was kind of buddies back then in the Seattle area, all the bands. What was the scene like before it got huge?
Well, those guys were all buddies.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 5 years younger than Eddie, and 6 years younger than Lane would have been, 7 years younger than Jerry is, or 5 years younger than Jerry is. So we were quite a bit younger in age. So we came along. We couldn't play any of the clubs until we turned 21. Our bass player didn't turn 21 until 1990 or 1992. So we were playing friends' houses, house parties and whatnot, basements and those sorts of things. So when we came out, people didn't know who we were. But that being said, being a part of watching that city's development musically and the creative process and the unending amount of energy and music that seemed to be popping out on a fucking monthly basis, man. I mean, I moved there from San Antonio, Texas when I was 14 years old, 1984. So I had never experienced anything like that. And I think when I realized what was going on was when my friends from high school took me down to see Soundgarden play for the first time when they were a three-piece. Chris was playing drums, and I was absolutely fucking blown away. I was like, what is this? Coming from Texas, and certainly in the early 80s, it was the majority of the music that I was listening to was punk rock. So I had never experienced this kind of acid, drone, slowed down, progressive rock and roll. I'd never heard anything like it. Closest thing I would give it as an example would be if Black Sabbath was played on, if you put your finger on the side of the turntable and slowed it down about, from a 33 to maybe like a 28, that's kind of what I could have, give an example of it. So I had never experienced anything like that. So watching that happen and and then of course being a part of it later on was, just mind blowing for me. But it was a beautiful city. Those relationships those bands had with one another, and the constant support and camaraderie of playing shows together and trying to get the word out about them. The Posies and the Fastbacks and the Melvins and Tad, and I mean, Blood Circus, and the list goes on and on and on with all these bands that play together. And they probably were in bands together at one point. I mean, I know Green River is a perfect example of what happens in the incestual Seattle music scene. But being an outsider of that sucked, to be perfectly honest with you. It was a fucking heartbreaking for us, because we just were kids playing music just like they were, but we weren't included in that high school clique. So, we were eighth graders when the seniors were graduating, if you will. And we came into a high school that didn't really want us to be a part of that high school.
Wow, that's interesting. Very cool, though. I mean, the scene that developed out of there was just unbelievable.
It was incredible. I mean,
amazing. Anyway, you're on tour. How is it post-COVID?
Fucking weird.
It must be. What are shows like now? I mean, I'm up in Canada. We don't get any shows these days. So
yeah, no, I know, it's crazy.
What's it like at a show?
It's not intimate. It's not. I think one of the things that's the most difficult for a musician like me about it is because I'm such a person. I love getting down in the pit, shaking hands and taking pictures and giving pics out and singing songs with the fans. Like I'll jump down there if I see somebody singing a song and the microphone's right in both of our faces and we'll sing it together. I love that shit. I mean, that's a great gift for me. That somebody has taken the time to learn, my music and wants to sing it with me. And not being able to do that, I really kind of feel, I make the joke that I feel like Ricky Bobby, where it's like, I don't know what to do with my hands because I'm not used to having to be stuck in this place where I'm being stuck because of the fact that people are still afraid of COVID. I'm still afraid of COVID. The audience really can't get lost in the show because of the concerns about the people around them. And I think that's not going to go away anytime soon. It's very, very strange. The festivals are easy because you're never close to the audience anyways. But then again, when you're backstage hanging out with your friends and other bands, like, we've been friends with guys in Chevelle and Shinedown and all these bands that we've been playing with, everybody's got a mask on, and because we're all concerned about our tours being shut down, and
right.
Financially it would be devastating to me because, I'm the only remaining member of Candlebox. So the buck stops with me. I'm paying all these bills, and if I've got to shut this down, it'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars, and that's something I can't afford. So we're extremely cautious, and to the point where it's fucking frustrating, because I've got great friends that I would like to fucking hang out with and have a cocktail with after a show, and I can't do that.
Right. Now, having said that, I watched some videos on YouTube of recent Candlebox shows. Dude, your voice is the same as it was 28 years ago. What's your secret? Like
lots of whiskey.
Is it whiskey? There you go. See,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But everybody else who's been around for 30 years, you can tell that there's a serious drop in their vocals. I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but how do you do it? Like, honestly, 30 years later, you sound exactly the same. Are you dropped tuning, or are you?
No, we're standard.
You're standard.
Yeah,
tuning.
we're standard. As a matter of fact, just to give you, I'll tell you. I started singing in first grade, and I was in choir all through middle school, grade school, middle school, and high school. Mainly because in high school, when you needed an elective, I figured there are going to be a lot of girls in choir, and I was a girl crazy kid, but I loved to sing. My mother was a singer. My father was a jazz musician. Both my brothers and my sister sang, so music was a constant in our house, and I never wanted to be a singer in a rock band. I wanted to be a drummer in a rock band. I started playing drums when I was 10. But I think all those years of training have really built up the strength in my voice. And I still, when I'm talking to you right now, my diaphragm's tight. I know how to control it. I understand what it can do. I know at those moments during the show where I'm going to want to go somewhere. If I can't, I have to adjust what I want to do. But I do the same thing Steven Tyler did, where, when you've got to hit those notes and dream on, you've got to figure out how you can do that physically and capture the same energy. And it's certainly sometimes, you're almost faking it because you're breathing in over the vocal cords to get that note to reach, but I'm lucky, man. And, people joke about it. We do Sweet Child of Mine in the middle of a song of ours called Sweet Summertime. Which I called it Sweet Summertime is because I loved the song Sweet Child of Mine, and I stole the bridge section of the song from Guns N' Roses. But we do it, and we do that in there, but we do it a full step and a half up. And I don't have a problem with it. So I don't know what's going on here, man, but I'm not going to argue with it. It doesn't owe me money right now, so I'm very happy.
I guess it's like Lady Gaga said one time, I saw her, she said, I just know how to sing right. Mm-hmm. I do. I know how to sing right. Yeah. Right. So that'll save your voice. Instead of screaming and just blowing it out, it'll save it for 30 years. Yeah. Wow, that's really interesting, because I was shocked. Honestly, I thought, okay, there's got to be a drop in the vocal performance after 30 years. No, we're very lucky that this thing's working. Unreal. Good for you. That's awesome. You played Woodstock 94. Tell people, what's it like to be on a stage in front of, well, estimates were well over 200,000 people. Is there a difference in the way you think about the gig, or how you approach your performance if there's that many people? Or is it the same as playing a club? No, you definitely have to adjust it. I mean, the stage was the size of a fucking football field. So the first thing I asked for was a microphone cable that was 150 feet long, which meant that they had to attach, I think they had 3 50-footers that they attached together. After the microphone came unplugged in the second song, because they didn't do it when I asked them to. But yes, you do have to adjust that. I mean, first of all, it is the most unbelievable experience you can have as a musician. The wave of bodies in movement under highlights of the moon and the clouds. It's like watching the waves of an ocean. It's because that timed difference of audio, it's just so spectacular to watch. I'll never forget it. I mean, I'm talking to you about it right now, and I can see every fucking minute of it. I can see coming out on stage and saying, "Hi, we're Madonna," because I was wearing a Madonna t-shirt. I knew that she was watching the show, and we were the first band to sign to the label. And, I was paying respect. But the most interesting thing was they wouldn't let you watch the other bands because the stage turned. So as live went on before us, and they were on stage. And so all you can hear is the audience, and you're thinking to yourself, how fucking big is this? Because the sound is just, it's what's the word?
It's spectacular. I mean, it's the sound is spectacular. Your ears aren't ready for that kind of. I mean, it's yeah, it's wild. And then the stage turns and you see 300,000 people. You're like, fuck, we better not suck.
No
But we had
kidding.
learned a lot. By that point, we toured with Living Colour, Rush, and we were on tour with Metallica. So we had learned how to work an audience of over 10,000 people, and certainly with Rush we did, because every show was this the entire time we were on stage. Nobody wanted to see anybody but Rush, so we had to learn how to adapt to the likes and dislikes of the band on a live platform. But Woodstock '94 was, I did not expect it to be as incredible as it was, but I have never forgotten it, and I never will. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life.
That's so cool. And it's so awesome that you mentioned Rush, because I am Canadian, and you know that Rush is Canadian rock and roll royalty. And in fact, this dude here is named Geddy.
Geddy.
Geddy the Rock Dog. So as a Canadian and as a huge Rush fan, I got to hear one Rush story.
Oh, God, there's too many. My favorite story, though, is so back in the day when you would tour with a band, you would give them a gift to say thank you for taking us on the road, and they would do certain things for you as well. They would give you, nice bottle of scotch or something. It was just kind of what happened. I don't know if it still happens now. We do it with the bands that open for us, but I don't think it's a practice anymore the way it used to be. And so we would watch them every night. And Neil was incredibly quick at retrieving sticks if he threw them in the air and he missed them, which every night during that drum solo, those sticks went up. And sometimes he would miss it, but he was so fast at grabbing a stick out of the bag that it looked like he caught it. And the camera would sit at a certain angle, so you wouldn't be able to see whether he got it or not. So at the end of the tour, we did an end of tour party with him. I played 18 holes of golf with him, which is like a whole other fucking story, mind blowing. But as the end of tour party gift, we gave him a right-handed catcher's mitt, and he laughed. And I had never seen him laugh, and he laughed, and he's like, "This is brilliant. I'll put it to good use," because he knew what we gave it to him for. And they were such sweet guys. I mean, we would get, back when Alex would drink, we would sit and drink scotch with him, and just talk about music. They were the greatest, most generous band I've ever come across in my entire career, and the loveliest guys. And I was just heartbroken when Neil passed, and I felt so bad for Geddy and Alex. I mean, these guys have been friends for so fucking long. It must have been awful.
Oh, absolutely devastating. And even for the whole rock community. I mean, that guy is one of the most influential drummers in the history of rock.
That's how I learned to play drums. I tried to play to moving pictures when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, good luck.
And I tried. Yeah. And I got to play his drum kit once, and he was like, "Go ahead, let's see what you got." And I played Tom Sawyer in front of Neil Peart.
How'd that go?
talk about confidence. Jesus, what an asshole.
Wow, that's amazing. Again, as a Canadian, what Canadian bands are you into aside from Rush?
Well, I was a huge Tragically Hip fan. I do Tea Party, love. Our Lady Peace, brilliant musicians.
Oh, you played with them too, didn't you?
Yeah, we took them out on the road for about eight or 9 weeks back in 95, 96. Yeah, love those guys. And I mean, 5440 was one of my favorite bands growing up. Cabaret Voltaire, Skinny Puppy. I mean, I'm not crazy about like the new modern rock, although I'm good friends with the guys in Theory, and they write great songs. Obviously they know what they're doing. The Nickelback guys, another, Chad is a brilliant songwriter. It's not really my kind of music. So, I mean, which sounds strange to say because I'm in a rock band, but I don't listen to the kind of music I play. I listen to, like, I was just listening to Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. I mean, I like great punk rock, industrial. I love Tame Impala. I love that shit. So unless there's a lot of that happening in Canada, I probably haven't heard it heard of it, but yeah, I'm just more of like I love the classic kind of Canadian rock and roll.
Good. I'm glad you mentioned the hip. That's
I love them.
I ask everybody this question at the end of my interviews, and you're the first person who's mentioned the hip.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's always
That's
Rush
interesting.
and Guess Who and Neil Young, maybe a few people with Triumph, but
yeah, I'll tell you who I really, really love is the Glorious Sons.
Oh yeah.
Great fucking band. I mean, those guys are just doing fucking cool shit, and I think that's awesome.
We have a lot of good music up here people don't know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get that
obviously
going.
I don't know about all of it.
Well, I don't either, but we've had our moments, put it that way.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for this. This has been awesome. Congratulations on the new album, and best of luck with the tour. And hopefully when everything's back to normal, you can head up to Ottawa and play a gig up here.
We have been trying to get to Canada for 100 fucking years, man. I don't know. There's tax problems and all sorts of shit that goes with us coming up there, but fingers crossed we can make it happen.
Hopefully. Again, thanks so much. This has been awesome. Best of luck. You got a show tonight, don't you?
Yeah, we're in a baseball stadium with Shinedown tonight.
Ooh, kick ass.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
As they say in Spinal Tap, do a good show.
You got it.
Right on. Thanks again. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Bye.